Limestone Research Market Update Edition 2. Firstly, we're going to have a little look into what's happening on the news front. Looks like we've had some more news out of the SEC. Looks like another crackdown. This time we have Brian Armstrong and Coinbase in the firing line. The night before was CZ and Binance. This story seems to be growing. Looks like the SEC seems to be cracking down on whether or not these companies are securities or not, or how they're using crypto assets as security seems to be a big question. Again, seems to be a bit of a can of worms now with the Ripple case still going in the background. Have to see what comes of this. Without getting into too much detail there, we know there's been a number of high-profile blow-ups, that's a good word, from Terra, Three Arrows Capital, and FTX last year. So I think that's the angle the SEC are using as they try to protect customers. So have a look at what happened in the charts. As we can see, this is on the Bitcoin Daily. We have some action. This little bit of a dip was the night before, and then seems like the market's reacted in a positive light, but we can see not too high of a level here, cooling off again. So the moment we're sitting at 26,800. Imagine some of these Fibonacci extensions will be tested. We might be in a little bit of a range unless a new story comes out. It's going to be interesting to see what happens when Hong Kong start trading crypto. That's going to be a new narrative, whether or not that can hold these levels. Otherwise, we could be seeing some sort of test around 2,400 potentially in the next few months. So have to keep watching this one. Looking into the S&P 500 chart here, we can see overnight pretty flat. Seems to be holding a nice little level. We've had some positive news. Apple dropping a new product. It's got the market excited. Whether or not that's going to have any effect in containing this momentum, we'll have to wait and see. I think there are some talks whether or not the Fed's going to raise this month. It's probably going to have a little bit of an effect either way. Have to watch this space. Jumping into the Aussie markets, you can see didn't have a lot of movement today. Still hovering around that 118, 119 level, which I think has a little bit of support. I was looking into some metrics just to see what has kept this, I suppose, from running like the S&P 500, and other than the fact that there is a lot of dividend paying stocks, I think I've found some sort of resistance, potentially. If we look into the natural gas prices, here we have the chart. This is a weekly, going back to the start of last year. We saw a bit of a move up as the pressures in Europe escalated. Looks like we cooled and a little bit of a head and shoulders appeared. Looks like we've come down, and whether or not it was negative sentiment on enough gas reserves being met in Europe, this chart's just continued to drop. As we can see, it's found some support sitting around that $2.30 mark. I have a feeling though this could be oversold and potentially may start to retrack. As we can see, the ASX 200 ETF is heavily weighted energy, 5.6%, and you can see Woodside, they are 3.2% total weight. I think as an overall factor on this chart, we could see some pressure out of natural gas, and the opposite light, if this turns, we could definitely see a retracement potentially in the next few months, which I'm thinking could happen with the narrative around summer. Now, if we have a look at number of natural gas power stations worldwide, we can see United States, Russia, China, and some countries in Europe, Germany, Italy, Spain, and the UK seem to make up a large amount of the gas power stations. And if it does get hot over there, they're going to need power to generate those air conditioners. So I do feel that the narrative that winter wasn't as cold might have the opposite effect this time. We could see some pressures coming back onto gas supplies. We see, I found a little article, Germany looking like they're trying to secure their electrical supplies through gas-powered plants as well. I think this is one to watch. I think there is potential for some pressure to start coming back on gas. As we can see, looking back into the Aussie markets, AGL has trended down, pretty much following that negative sentiment towards gas. Woodside, these companies do make up a large proportion of the A200, so looking into Woodside for a second, we can see, although it's tracked up nicely, that was through the oil acquisition from BHP last year. I reckon there's some pressures on Woodside from their gas production. Again, Beach Energy, a small producer, looks to be on the nose a little bit, which I believe is all paying a little bit of negativity into the A200 potentially. Could see if this does start to pick up again, maybe we'd see a bounce off the 200-day potentially just something I'm watching. I think we'll leave it there. Hope you all enjoyed episode 2, Limestone Research. Don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy what I've got to show you guys. And all the best. Speak soon. Cheers.